So I'm a firm believer in like things happen when they're meant to, but also when it comes to games, I always think, man, I should have played this sooner. I mean, there's a very specific feeling you get when you finally play a standout, iconic JRPG that you missed. I mean, it's a blend of excitement, admiration, curiosity, and maybe just a little bit of regret as well, thinking like, wow, it took me this long. And that feeling has hit me a lot over the last few years because maybe I didn't have the right console at the right time, or I was too young to fully appreciate it, or maybe some games just get lost in a sea of other releases. There's a lot of iconic standout JRPGs that I somehow missed, despite being regarded as all-time classics by a lot of you guys. So today I want to talk about some of the most iconic standout games that I've played that I should have played sooner. Some classic, iconic JRPGs that I'm sure all of you guys love that I just look at and think, man, it took me way too long to get here. So before we get to that, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your thoughts down below. If you want to continue the conversation beyond the videos, hit the Discord link down in my description. And let's get to the first game today, which is my game of the year in 2025, believe it or not. Let's go. Trails in the Sky. Now, obviously, I'm talking about the first chapter version, which is a remake, which is new. But let me tell you, I've heard people praise Trails for years and years and years, and I never really understood why until I finally sat down and played it. Even though I'm experiencing, this game or this series through a more modern version, I can definitely tell what makes this game special, or maybe what makes this series special. What immediately stood out to me was how grounded and character-driven everything felt. Estelle and Joshua don't feel like larger-than-life heroes. I mean, they feel like normal people, simply growing into their roles as the world expands around them. And what I really liked about this game in particular, and I'm sure it's probably the same as well, I'm holding off on playing any more Trails until the second chapter remake comes out or whatever. I want to play these as they get released, because otherwise I'm going to get lost in the sea of Trails. But the pacing is really just a standout thing for me. Trails in the Sky, the first chapter at least, it's not in a hurry to tell you what's happening or show you what's happening. It's confident enough to let the conversations breathe, let the towns feel lived in, and to let small character moments really matter. And the more that I played, I realized this game isn't trying to overwhelm you at all. I mean, it's trying to build your trust. It's trusting that you'll stick with it, and it's trust that the payoff will come later. And my gosh, did it ever come later. And once that clicked, I finally understand why Trails fans are so passionate about the series. I mean, Trails' first chapter isn't like, it's not about immediate spectacle or wow, it's about laying foundations for something massive. And discovering all this after the series has already grown so large makes me wish that I could have been there from the beginning, because I could have. And watching this game unfold in front of me was so amazing, a unique experience, and that's why I earned my Game of the Year 2025, so I can't wait to dive into more Trails, because I have so many Trails games to get to now. Next up, I'm cheating here by including a ton of games, but I tell you what, I am so glad that I have finally got into Dragon Quest. I'm talking about Dragon Quest 1 through 4 here, because these are the games that I kind of most recently played. There's something, I don't know, there's something really unique about playing these games later in life, and it just feels like I'm experiencing the DNA of, the JRPG genre for like the first time. Now, of course, I played the HD 2D versions of Dragon Quest 1 through 3, and I've just finished the DS version of 4. If you want all of my standalone reviews on those, you can check my channel and find all of those. But I tell you what, I mean, Dragon Quest 1 is almost shockingly simple. It's one hero, one quest, one world, but I love that simplicity. It's so fun. There's something calming about its structure that makes every decision feel meaningful. Dragon Quest 2 HD 2D expanded that formula into a proper adventure with a proper party. I love all of the changes that they've made to this game. Now, I've said this before, I haven't played the original Dragon Quest 2, but you can just see that that foundation was there. And what they've done with this is an incredibly special game that almost beat out Trails for my JRPG of the Year experience. And Dragon Quest 3 feels like a wonderful end, or maybe even beginning, if you want to look at it in terms of timeline for 1 through 3. It's great because you still have that singular hero joined with a party, and the job system that makes everything really unique and flexible. If you want to do different job classes, each playthrough is going to be completely different and unique if you're willing to take that chance. And then Dragon Quest 4, which I talked about in my video last week, kind of has this unique chapter-based storytelling, which may have been the precursor to things like Octopath Traveler, for example. I mean, you really don't even get to the main hero until, almost halfway through the game, I guess, because you start with different chapters, highlighting different characters. It's basically a tutorial of how to play this game using these characters, highlighting specific abilities, and then once you finally get to the hero, you can kind of choose your party wisely. And playing these games now really give me a deep appreciation for how foundational they are. I can see these games getting better with every single release, but it also makes me wish I had grown up with them. I was a Final Fantasy kid, and I think that these games really would have sat really well with me as a younger version of me. I mean, there's a warmth, there's a sincerity, and there's a sense of adventure that feels tailor-made for childhood discovery. They're comforting, obviously timeless, and very quietly brilliant. So for the next one, I'm doing another 2 games in one, and that's Suikoden 1 and 2. I played these for the first time this year with the HD remaster. I've heard people talk about them for ages, and honestly, I always knew Suikoden 2, for example, as like one of the most expensive PlayStation 1 JRPG titles, and yes, I finally did buy them this year. It was well worth it. Trust me, it's just great to have these in the collection. But I mean, even starting with Suikoden 1, it immediately stood out to me as how grounded and kind of political the story is. I mean, it's not as much as Suikoden 2 is, but it certainly doesn't waste its time setting up the corruption of the empire or the moral weight behind your rebellion. The narrative feels mature and surprisingly kind of emotional for this kind of game. It's short, it's focused, and incredibly effective at what it sets out to do. And Suikoden 2 takes that foundation and elevates it, in every single way. The character writing is a lot more stronger, the conflicts are more personal, and the emotional beats hit a lot harder. And the main kind of antagonist through 80% of your playthrough, Luca Blight, remains one of the most unforgettable villains in the genre. Not because he's complex, but he's like terrifyingly human in his cruelty. And the idea of recruiting 108 characters or the Stars of Destiny gives the world a scale that still feels really impressive to me, even now playing this game however many years after the initial release. And if I had played Suikoden 1 and 2 when I was younger, I know they would have shaped how I think about RPG storytelling. So playing them now made it instantly clear why these games have had such a devoted fan base for so long. They're timeless in like the best way. So for the next game, it's Final Fantasy Tactics, and if you guys follow my channel, you know that I've just played this for the first time this year with the Ivalice Chronicles remaster. It was such a wonderful experience, and I waited so long to play Final Fantasy Tactics. For one reason or another, this just evaded me, and I finally bought the PlayStation 1 version of it in the summer this year, and then a week later, Square Enix announced that they were going to do a remaster of it, so I figured let's just wait. And was it worth the wait? Absolutely. Final Fantasy Tactics, one of those games that just completely caught me off guard. From the beginning, it presents a tone that's like super dark, very political, and maybe one of the most mature in the Final Fantasy series. It's about the power and corruption and the cost of loyalty in a broken system. Once the story settles in, it becomes really compelling. Ram's journey is tragic, it's frustrating, it's deeply human, and the way that the narrative unfolds feels really modern. It trusts you as the player to keep up, read between the lines, and sit with some uncomfortable ideas. And on top of that, the gameplay is phenomenal. The game gives you this job system that's so robust. You have so much freedom, and every battle feels like a puzzle that rewards smart thinking and positioning and planning. I genuinely wish I would have played this back in the PlayStation 1 era. It feels like a game that would have permanently changed how I viewed RPGs growing up, and definitely would have made me more of a strategy kind of, tactics nerd, which I'm kind of leaning towards that now, and I love it. So believe it or not, 2025 has been the time that I finally played a Persona game. After being a JRPG fan for so many years, I finally decided to dip into the world of Persona with Persona 3 Reload. Now, I've never really played a game like this. I take that back. Actually, I played Metaphor ReFantazio last year, which borrows a lot of ideas from Persona. So I wasn't going in completely blind per se, but this sort of structure, this sort of unique gameplay, it's so fun and so rewarding. It's just this addictive gameplay loop of visiting this tower every single night and getting as high as you can and slowly uncovering the story of the world every single day. As far as like the story, I'm 30 hours into it. I kind of dropped it midway through the year because I got busy with some life stuff, and it's been on my radar to get back to, but I tell you what, it was super impactful what I played. The themes of morality and time and personal connection gives the story a weight that slowly builds over dozens of hours. It's not flashy by any means. It's introspective in a way. And I really like this modern presentation of Persona 3 Reload. It's, there's a couple different versions I could have played, but this one, it was the most convenient. It was cheap on Steam, and I really love the experience. It feels smooth. It feels approachable. And obviously you can tell the heart of the original game is still very much intact. Spending day-to-day life with this cast creates a genuine bond, not between the main character and the cast, but you and the entire cast as well. And some of the emotional payoffs with the story beats have been really great. Honestly, I've really enjoyed my time with this, and I honestly can't wait to get back to it. I honestly wish I would have played a Persona game earlier. Why I decided to start with number 3, I don't know. It just looked appealing to me, but I've had so much fun with it, and it feels like one of those games that's going to stick with me long after I actually roll credits, and it's still sticking with me now, and I haven't played it in 6 months or so, but experiencing this now is super powerful, and I can absolutely see why it's left such a long-lasting impact on players, over the years, and I'm so glad that I finally dipped in, but I really regret not playing Persona sooner. Now hang on, before we get any further with my list, did you guys know that almost 90% of the people that watch my channel on the regular are not subscribed? So I would love to have you here on each and every single video I release every week. Otherwise, if you want more content on the regular, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I post there pretty much daily, and it's a great and quick way to interact with you guys as well. So let's get to another favorite of mine, which is, yes, I talk about it a lot on my channel, but man, I cannot resist to chat about Grandia. Grandia really just captured me in a way that few JRPGs ever really truly nail. I mean, it just has this unique sense of adventure. From the moment the story begins, everything feels great, optimistic, curious, and full of wonder. It genuinely feels like setting out into an unknown world and discovering it piece by piece alongside an enthusiastic, wide-eyed protagonist gives you that awesome feel of Saturday morning cartoons that really nothing else does. And the combat system here is so standout. Grandia's timeline-based mechanics, combined with the ability to interrupt enemy actions, is so fresh. I honestly haven't seen anything like this in playing JRPGs through the years, and Grandia just totally blew me away with how flexible this combat system is. Battles are dynamic, strategic, and so satisfying to play out. And playing Grandia now made me realize how perfect this would have been as a childhood game. It's super joyful, it's earnest, it's endlessly charming, and it's honestly the exact kind of game that would have fueled my imagination growing up. Characters are endearing, the music's fun, it's not overly hard either. It's such a fun game. If you're looking for something different that you haven't played before and you want to get the HD version on Switch or Steam or whatever else, play it. It's so worthwhile. And it comes with Grandia 2 as well, which some say refines the battle system even further. But I love this game. I wish I would have played it sooner. Lost Odyssey is a game that I heard people talk about for ages. I did not play this on release. I only played this for the first time last year in 2024, but man, I tell you what, I was really missing out on something special. With the themes of memory and loss and immortality, gives a unique kind of reflective tone that sets it apart from so many other games in the genre. The main characters, they're immortal and they have memory loss. The whole journey feels heavy, but never like super melodramatic. It's thoughtful and very sincere. And the 1,000 Years of Dreams segments are, in my opinion, where the game truly shines. These are really beautiful short stories that often hit harder than some of the main plots in other JRPGs. They're really quiet, they're personal, they're unforgettable. I remember the first one that you read throughout the game actually brought me to tears, so I was very much emotionally involved in this game. I don't think it's like a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, but it's definitely something that I know if I played this when it first came out in like 2007 or 8 or something, it would have made a huge impact and probably kept me glued to JRPGs as a genre instead of going off and playing Halo online all the time. But between the music and the story and the battle system, it is in my opinion, a quintessential JRPG that you guys should not miss. Next up is Super Mario RPG. Now, I tell you what, I only played this for the first time back in 2023 on Super Nintendo. And I remember as a kid, I had a childhood friend who I used to go to his house and I used to see Super Mario RPG there, and I remember having it fired up once or twice, seeing the giant sword go through the castle. It was like super iconic to me, but I still never sat down and played it because I didn't have a Super Nintendo as a kid. But I tell you what, this is just pure childhood magic. Whether you're playing the original or the remake that came out a couple years ago, it is the perfect combination of Mario's world with Square's RPG design, just creating something unique, full of charm, humor, and so much personality. The timing-based combat keeps battles super engaging and interactive, while the writing and characters makes the world feel so cozy. I mean, if you are any bit a fan of JRPG, you know how much people love Gino and Mallow. I mean, they are super unforgettable, and playing it later in life was such a joy, but I can't help wish this would have been part of my childhood library. It's exactly the kind of game that you would replay endlessly, discovering something new every single time. And I can't talk about Super Mario RPG without discussing the music as well. Super timeless. I mean, there's so many great standout tracks. I mean, Secret of the Forest is one of them, but I just think of this game so fondly, and I just so regret not playing this back in the 90s. It would have been a, honestly, very shapeful experience. Final Fantasy VI. This was a game that I talked about a couple years ago on I Finally Get It. It took me ages to understand it because growing up as a Final Fantasy VII kid, I didn't understand the hype for 6 because, as some people say, you had to have been there. And to be honest with you, I wish I would have been there. Final Fantasy VI is so staggering in its ambition, the ensemble cast, the storytelling, and iconic moments like the Opera House and World of Ruin all feel incredibly bold for the Super Nintendo era. And every character is so important. I mean, Kefka remains one of the most memorable villains in gaming history, and even decades later, the emotional highs and lows hit really hard. I absolutely wish I would have played this in the 90s, experiencing it for the first time truly from start to finish. With the pixel remaster allowed me to appreciate the craft of the game, but I can only imagine how mind-blowing it would have been playing this on a Super Nintendo with the CRT back in the mid-90s. I'm sure it was a total one-of-one unique experience, but having grown up with Final Fantasy VII, it's hard for me to unlearn that and then try and appreciate 6 for what it was when it did its thing back in the mid-90s. Now, I appreciate it, I love it a whole lot, but I just know that if I played this game when it first came out, this would have been, maybe I would have been a Final Fantasy VI kid instead of 7. Who knows? Now for the ultimate, I can't believe I waited this long game. I have to say it belongs to Xenogears. I finished this game for the first time back in 2020, and man, it was an insane adventure. It's a story that dives deep into philosophy, psychology, identity, and trauma in ways that few games even attempt. It's ambitious, it's a little bit messy, but it's completely unforgettable. The blend of traditional combat, mech battles, and haunting music creates an experience that's honestly still lingering with me long after the credits roll, even now, 5 years later. And even its famously uneven second disc cannot erase the impact of, in my opinion, what it tries to accomplish. If I had played Xenogears back in the early 2000s, I can tell you for sure, I know it would have fundamentally shaped how I view storytelling in games. Playing it now has obviously left a massive impression. It's changed the way I think about things. It's challenged some of my thoughts, like who we are, why we are, where we are in the universe, like all this really great brain food stuff. I love it so much for that. It's probably the deepest game I've played in terms of like thinking about stuff as well. And having finally played it back in 2020 finally made me understand why it's considered legendary. And I actually, even if I wanted to, I cannot shake the feeling of this game. So I wish I would have played this 20 years earlier. Like I said, I know it would have shaped my thoughts with storytelling and games and stuff. It's such a flawed masterpiece in my opinion. So if only this game could have been finished the way they wanted to finish it, who knows? This probably would go down maybe unanimously as the best game of all time. So there's my list of games that I wish I played sooner. It's a huge list of games, and I'm still working through stuff that I still want to play that I haven't played yet. So hopefully I can get to some more standout titles in 2026, like Persona 5 or maybe even Final Fantasy 14. Who knows? So thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, join the Discord. I want to chat with you guys, and yeah, have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys being here, and we'll see you again on another video next week. Bye-bye.